political analyst, also a professor at Tehran University. Mohammad, always good to see you. And I want to just put an accusation that has been placed by the IAEA against Iran. On Friday, it said that Iran continues to stockpile amounts of enriched uranium, and that as far as it's concerned, this is the UN nuclear watchdog, it's saying that Iran remains in violation of its deal with world powers. What does Tehran say to that?
The Iranians are saying that it is the Europeans and the Americans that are in violation of their commitments. And the Iranians have now responded in kind. When the Americans tore the agreement, the Europeans came to the Iranians and pleaded for the Iranians to stay within the deal and that they would find a solution. And the Iranians waited for a year and a half, and absolutely nothing happened. The Europeans are in complete violation of all of the key 11 commitments within the JCPOA, or the nuclear deal. So after a year and a half, the Iranians began to, as your viewers recall, decrease their commitments in stages. In 5 stages, the Iranians moved away from full compliance with their commitments to where we stand now. And while the Iranians are still the only side that is in partial compliance with its commitments within the deal, the other side, meaning the Europeans, because the Americans are out of the deal, they are still in the violation of the deal. So as we speak, the Iranians are still the ones who are more committed to the deal than the Europeans.
Okay, you know what, Mohammad, I totally understand that justification. But rather than ask you to criticize and to analyze what looks like hypocrisy from the Trump administration, it's a little bit too easy. So I just want to broaden it out a little bit. Do you not think that the international nuclear deal is the one way that Iran can stay on side with most of the rest of the world? Let's leave the US out of it, because we don't believe that under Donald Trump that will ever happen, right? But with the rest of the world, would the nuclear deal be the one way for Iran to stay on side because of the recent deal between the UAE and Israel? Many people are saying that that's a precursor to other deals that Middle Eastern countries will make with Israel. And if that happens, all of it will alienate Tehran even more.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. The Iranians would rather countries like the UAE to come out and be open about their relationship with the Israeli regime. The Israelis and the United Arab Emirates and the Saudis and the Bahraini regime, all of these regimes, they've had very close relations for a very long time. These regimes don't want the relationship to come out in the open because it harms them. It makes them unpopular among Arabs, among Muslims, among leftists and nationalists in the global South. The only reason why the Emirates came out and admitted their relationship with Israel is under American pressure, under pressure from Trump. So this is actually a gift to Trump under duress. The more open these relationships are, the better it is for Iran, because it weakens these regimes. And I think for Iran, the international community has seen enough over the last few years that it has been Iran that has abided by its commitments, and that it is the Europeans and the Americans that have not been fulfilling their obligations. And for me personally, it really doesn't matter anymore if we're within the nuclear deal or not. It served its purpose. We've showed the international community that all of the propaganda, the Western mainstream media or the corporate media or Western governments and think tanks, their claims about Iran pursuing a nuclear weapon were nonsense. And the claims that Iran is unwilling to do a deal are nonsense, because we did do a deal and we gave significant concessions. And despite that, neither Europe nor the United States has abided by its commitments, regardless of whether Trump is president or not. But still, the Iranians remain within the deal to continue to show the international community that, look, that we're not the problem here. The problem is obviously the other side.
Mohammad, always appreciate your appearance on the program. Thank you so much indeed. Take care. Mohammad Marandi speaking to us from Tehran.